Jason Statham has once again delivered an action film with a one-word title, this time taken to the high seas in Mutiny. Will this satisfy any action cravings, or will the theater just riot? After witnessing his billionaire boss's murder and being framed for the crime, Cole Reed boards a cargo ship on a one-man crusade to avenge his boss's death, only to discover an international conspiracy. Pretty much nowadays, when you see a Jason Statham-led movie, you know what you're in for. A simple plot, usually comprised of revenge or vengeance, maybe protection, sometimes something clandestine, but always packed with violent throat punches and wicked bone-breaking. And Mutiny's no different. Statham is Cole, a quiet bodyguard who winds up in a foobar situation, leading him down a path to avenge his friend's murder and also clear his name. He winds up on a cargo ship, and outside of a 10 to maybe 15-minute intro of the movie, the rest of the story takes place in this isolated, contained setting. We're tossed into the action bits pretty early on in the story, giving us an exciting battle that, of course, is going to end with lots of dead dudes. But maybe surprisingly, the movie isn't wall-to-wall action scenes with non-stop hand-to-hand close-quarters fights. Instead, the violence is spaced out to allow small bits of downtime for Cole to work his way through the ship's vast number of hiding spots. And to add some dramatic elements to the plot, Annabelle Wallis co-stars as one of the ship's crew, becoming an unwilling participant in everything that goes down. Now, thankfully, she can hold her own, like she's channeling just a little bit of Gabriel from Malignant, hidden ferocity that leaps out unexpectedly. She's got more backstory that is provided. I mean, it's teased, and then it's like the writer just forgot they wrote the line, so it's never brought up again, even in other contexts that could make sense given who she comes into contact with. There's also another larger underlying storyline that's included just so that it gives the baddies some kind of rationale for being baddies. It's a concept that works for this, but also it isn't wholly original or fresh. But for the majority of us who would go see a Statham movie, we're not going to go for the drama. We want the face-smashing, head-exploding, blood and guts of a merciless battle sequence. So having the secondary MacGuffin be just a bit undercooked, or at least greatly simplified, it's not that huge of a deal. And from the brutality perspective, when the action comes on, it's intense and exciting. The camera captures some gnarly wounds, just thanks to improvised weapons. There's one where the entire theater audibly groaned, both in disgust and delight at what we were watching somebody endure. Another battle ended with the theater applauding and cheering. I mean, apparently just everyone is really invested in the savage end of a particular character, and they reacted accordingly. There are also a lot of close-up, quick cuts to the action, creating even more momentum and energy than's already there. But we also get to see the wider shots that allow us to see the choreography and enjoy the maneuvers in all their gory glory. This movie wants to be more than it is, though. The story is aiming for a sort of social commentary and dramatic arc that impacts the audience, but there isn't any mystery to what's going on. The actions and reactions are telegraphed way in advance. And I'm not talking about foreshadowing. The script just makes any potential surprises obvious right from the start. So this then sits squarely in a turn off your brain and enjoy the ride sort of story. Now, there is a conversation that I swear was lifted directly from Die Hard 2, which then was yet another tip-off of what was going to happen. Now, I don't know why the movie was trying to make this a deep examination of morality and human tragedy. What's provided in this respect, it's surface level at best, barely devoting any actual time or focus to delving into any sort of moral dilemma. And I was just looking for a bit of escapism, and for 95 minutes, that's what I got. And yeah, it is bloated just a bit with plot points that feel like afterthoughts, but they don't add up, adding too much extra time, at least in any way that's noticeable. There's also a surprising amount of forlorn and lingering shots of Statham, making us watch him staring off into the void, just lost in thought. Now, I know this is meant to convey his state of mind and emotion, but a lot of the time it just comes across as more awkward and forced than meaningful or introspective. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it just happened once. Instead, with the movie attempting to be more powerful or emotionally moving, we get repeated scenes of this quiet and ultimately dull viewpoint. So here's the deal. Mutiny checks off all the right boxes to make this a high-seas action thriller. There's a large body count with fights that are fierce, painful, and impressively choreographed. There's a simple and direct MacGuffin that puts Statham on his violent pursuit. Annabelle Wallis is a softening but strongly dangerous complement to the storytelling, avoiding becoming the damsel in distress and instead becoming a savage of the seas. And the line between wildly unrealistic and somehow plausible stays far enough from either to make this escapist fun. The secondary storyline is lacking in depth, and the story isn't nearly as clever or as mysterious as it believes, but thanks to a confined space and urgent timeline, the excitement outweighs any slowness to make this a popcorn action explosion that may not have lasting effects, but is enjoyable while you're there. There's no sex or nudity, a lot of profanity, and then a ton of violence. I give Mutiny 3 out of 5 couches. I mean, nothing is surprising in this, but it delivers exactly what it promises. Do you have a favorite Jason Statham movie? I love him in Snatch, but let me know your pick in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.